Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. I apologize. I've had some issues with my camera and it was working and now well, maybe I can make it work here. Oh, but now I got. Okay. Hi, everybody. I am wearing my Keller Williams No One Succeeds Alone. That's what we're talking about today. I don't know most of you except for Mike. Mike, how are you feeling? I heard you had some health fun.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
Great, great. So I see Maria, Dio, Miranda, Piffy. Am I saying that right? Piffy?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Kimberly, I know Kimberly, Parrish, Shane, Jesse, and is it Yasmin or Jasmine? Okay, you don't have to say anything.
Sorry, I was on mute. It's Jasmine.
Hi, Jasmine.
Hi.
So I've never, and I see Anthony, I've never done this before, so please bear with me. I've made some notes. I was asked to talk about lead generation, and I think the reason I was asked is because 2.5 years ago, about 6 months after I joined Keller Williams, I joined Bold, and maybe a show of hands, how many people have participated in the in-person Bold before pandemic Bold? Oh, am I the only one? Wow. Okay. It was like a boot camp, and it was, I knew Kimberly, yes, you and I were at the same table. Thank you. It was like a boot camp. You had to commit to making 100 contacts, not phone calls, but 100 contacts a week, 20 a day, and ask for business. And you found parts of you that made it happen that you didn't know existed. And I've had my license for 15 years, 16 years now, and I had never, ever done lead generation. So I came out of that. My sales were better the following year, and they've been better ever since. And for me, lead generation was a brand new idea. People just, they had their real estate license. I remember being, excuse me. I happened to have been with Remax at the time, and I was in a real estate office, and someone said, I got nothing going. I'm going to go get a manicure, pedicure today. They didn't take their business seriously. They just let it come to them. And what I've noticed with Keller Williams is that it's a plan. I reached out to someone today at 9:40 on the phone, and they said, oh, excuse me, I'm doing LG lead generation. And as most of you probably know, at Keller Williams, you don't plan any meetings between 9 and 11. That's when you lead generate. I hope you're all doing that. If anyone has any questions at any time, please feel free to bring them up, put them in the chat. If you're familiar with the bold laws, there's the one, it's simple, not easy. And to me, that is what lead generation is all about. You can find 100 other things to do rather than make that one phone call. You're always going to make that phone call later in the day, and it doesn't happen. So you just have to sit down and do it. It's like working out on a treadmill. The first few minutes are annoying. You do it, and then you're 12, 20 minutes into it. It's not a big deal. You just keep doing it. You finish your treadmill time, whether it's 40 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour. And to me, that's what lead generation is. You're not going to get results the first time you call. You're not going to get results for a month or 2 months sometimes. And then you're going to have the weird situation where you make a phone call. And this happened to me when I first got my license. I called a person whose last name was A, first name in the alphabet. I go, I've got my license. Do you know anyone that's thinking of buying or selling? And you can't make this stuff up. She said, yeah, my parents. The parents had gotten a divorce, had bought their own condos, decided to get back together, and were selling both condos. So with one phone call to the A's, I had 2 listings. Don't count on those all the time. Today, we're negotiating a deal. So this is April 12th, 2021. In October of 2018, because of Bold, I made phone calls to past clients and asked the question, and it's hard, do you know of anyone that's thinking of buying or selling? The fellow said, yeah, I think my brother and his wife are planning on selling their condo in Chicago. I ended up giving the referral to Eric Marcus. For those of you that know Eric, he listed the condo in Chicago, and 2.5 years later, I'm going to be having a sale from that one phone call. That's what lead generation is all about. We could talk about these things all day long. I'm not going to take an hour of your time because I'm just going to keep repeating myself. I'm just going to give you some nuggets. And please, if you have anything you want to bring up, do. The other bold law that I believe in, well, I don't know that it's a bold law. It came from the bold class. Lead generation will make you rich. Lead follow-up will make you wealthy. And that, to me, really makes a difference. Keep calling those people. They're never going to call you back until they're ready. And then they'll come up and they'll say something. Yes, thank you, Kimberly, for sure. And I'm just telling you my stories. Had the lead from the fellow. His daughter was going to buy a condo, lived in the next building from where I lived. And I would just leave a message. How are you doing? What's going on? Merry Christmas, happy spring. Never called me back, never called me back. One day she calls, she's going to be moving and she's going to be getting a job in another state. And so she wanted to have me list her place. Now, that hasn't happened yet, but I left those messages. She never called me back until she was ready to sell her property. I was kind of curious of everyone on here today. Can you do a hand or a check or whatever, of some symbol, if you've had your license less than 5 years, less than 5 years? Okay. And are you doing, you can do thanks, Jasmine. Okay, so 4 people, less than 5 years. Do you do lead generation now, whether it's 15 minutes a day, whether it's 2 hours a day? Just kind of give a thumb up if you want. Do you do lead generation now? Maria, you do? Okay. I'll tell you, some days I get it done, some days I don't, but if you focus on always doing it, it'll make a big difference. Is everyone, if you're new, have you been with Keller Williams only, or did you start somewhere else and then come to Keller Williams? Like, if you've had your license a long time, chances are you've been with other offices. But has Keller Williams been your own agency if you're a newer agent? Okay. Told you my story. I told you about Bold. If you participate in the James Shaw Pivot Shift calls on Monday through Friday, first and only, thank you, Dio. Let me see, I'll go into this chat here so I can respond. Okay. Well, you've certainly saved some time because this is my third agency, and I wish I would have been with Keller Williams at the beginning. I like 20 contacts a day as a goal. I'm going to be realistic. I don't get 20 contacts a day, but at least you've got a goal. And for me, which helped me, is I kept a notebook, a sheet where I wrote down the names that I talked to. It's not really going to help you ultimately. What it helped me do was a physical record that I had worked hard, physical record that I had reached out. And if I made 25 calls in a day and I only talked to maybe 12, 13 people, I would get 3 or 4, even 5 people calling me the next day or a few days after. And that's a good thing. Once again, don't worry if they don't call you back, they got your message. If you're new to the business, you're going to say, I don't have anybody. I don't have a list of clients. You spend money every day. You go to restaurants. Kimberly, what do you want to say? Oh, no. Okay. You go to restaurants, you go to dry cleaners. If you've got a house, you may have a landscape service. Don't forget those people that you spend money with. Now, it's not like, hey, you're a vendor for me, now give me business. Just let them know you're in the business. Let them know you're happy to take on the business. If you always can take time to take on more business. I liked keeping track of those names, and now I'm having a hard time throwing away all those sheets, even though I made so many calls during Bold. But it made me know that I at least was working towards something. And then I got to see the results, and it's a good feeling. Before the pandemic, I would, Stephen, do you want to say something? No. Okay. If I see the light, I think that maybe you want to, and please, if you want to talk, I don't want to be the only one talking here.
No, I just, Mary, I just muted myself. That was all.
Oh, okay. Okay. Before the pandemic, I would ask for business or just kind of keep in touch in a kind of a macabre way. Pandemic really gave us the opportunity to reach out to absolutely everyone you've ever known. And just, how are you? How are you doing? They were feel good calls, and it was a wonderful way to get business. And I'm sure you've all talked to agents that have done very, very well this year because of reaching out and being there for people. A couple of, well, I've said, don't be surprised if they come immediately, like my Anderson story, and others where they come several years later. Just when they're ready, they'll come. Always leave a message, be pleasant, be short. I think you should say you're with Keller Williams, and just keep it light. Don't be intense. Don't ever need the business. Let the people know you're there when they need you. The reason I came on so fast just now and I wasn't on ahead of time is a lady had called me back, and I thought I had a listing with her, and I was sure I had the listing. And then she said, well, I've got a niece that's a realtor, and she's in, I don't know, an hour away. And she says, I really think I should give the listing to my niece because I want to keep peace in my family. I said, that's great. I said, let your niece know she doesn't have to do anything, and I'll be happy to pay her a referral fee. I want to pay her a referral fee, and I will do all the work. She's like, you can do that? And I said, of course. And so now I'm getting a listing. I'm giving up 25%. It's 25% of something rather than all of nothing. So always be ready to give a referral to someone that has a family member.
That's a
that
smart move.
Yeah, you just, yeah, thank you. I thought so too, but make them feel comfortable, make them feel that you're there for them and you can help them. I love keeping track of the calls. And you know you're working hard when you're like really, really exhausted afterwards. You're like, oh my God. And for me, it's a really good feeling. Like when you go to an open house and you host an open house and you're just exhausted afterwards. It's all that mental energy, all that being, not that you're not nice normally, but you're really extending yourself to be of an outreach situation. Um, and I think keeping track of those calls gives you a good perspective because you're going to be calling. You're a new agent and you're not getting anything back and you're going to feel really badly. It's like, this isn't working. This isn't working. Keep track of those things and it'll show how hard you've worked. How has this ever happened? I'm kind of being rhetorical here. I mean, I know the answer. When a person says, hey, I'm thinking of, call me back in 6 months. Don't ever wait 6 months. Call them in 2 months, call them in 3 months. Just checking in, just seeing how you're doing, because their 6 months is in reality 2 to 3 months. Always keep in touch with them. And
Hey, Mary.
Parrish,
Yes, hi.
hi.
Didn't mean to cut you off there, but I did have a quick question. I love your
Wonderful.
insight, and I think what you're saying is, definitely real, and that's what I like to hear. Real stories.
Yeah.
Can you share with me, or with all of us, actually, a little bit about some of the scripts that you use? For any agents that are newer, just trying to get our feet wet, trying to get the right words out there on those outbound calls. Have you utilized a specific script or resource that you found to be your go-to? What was it, and what did you say?
Great question that I'm not prepared to answer because I wing it. And I wing it because I've been doing doing it a long time.
That's all right.
and frankly, from this group right here, we could have our own script practice. And I think something we can do here, and I'll be glad to be the first guinea pig since I'm the teacher, is what we'll do. We'll do a quick script. I mean, we're talking 30 seconds. We're talking 2 minutes maximum. Bold had wonderful scripts. I use those scripts. And if any of you have ever been in any kind of telemarketing sales where you were given scripts, they work. And don't let anyone tell you they don't. And don't tell yourself they don't. They don't work because you think they don't work because you're not comfortable with them. They don't sound right to you. If you say that script to somebody else, it doesn't sound like a script. It covers all the points that need to be covered. So Parrish, I think we should do that. You should test me on that. So do it right now. Parrish, I'm calling you, okay?
Go for it. Ring, ring.
Okay. Now let me think here for a second. You want to be a past client or you want to be a vendor?
I'd like to be a client that you haven't met yet. Let's say you're farming a certain area, a certain part of the city. You'd like to target, let's say, Lakeview. You got my name and number somewhere on a database. We haven't met. I don't know you. You don't know me. What does that sound like in 30 seconds or 45 seconds?
Okay. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, is this Parrish?
Yeah. Hi. Who's this?
Okay, you might be saying, who's this? Yeah, oh, you did. Okay. Hi, this is Mary Childers. I'm with Keller Williams. Do you have just 30 seconds?
Yeah, sure, Mary. What's going on?
Okay, great. Parrish, I understand that you might have some questions about real estate, maybe buying or selling. And I wanted to reach out to you and let you know if you might have any questions or if there's anything I could do to help in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, I recognize that the market is just going crazy. Seems like my neighbors are selling their houses for X amount of dollars above list, and what's really happening out there?
Well, that really is happening. I personally believe it's because the interest rates are so low and people can afford to get mortgages. And the other is because of what we've experienced in the last year with the pandemic, people's lifestyles are changing. They either want to get bigger, they want to get smaller, they want to try something different, and they really want to take advantage of this fabulous market. So if you have a property right now and you want to sell it, now is the time to do it. May I ask you, are you more interested in buying a property or selling a property?
Well, I have a property right now that I'm living in. I would love to maybe get a little bit more space, maybe move out to the west suburbs since I live up here in Lakeview. But tell me something, Mary. One concern that I do have, since it's a seller's market, and you're telling me that I could sell my house for top dollar, I'm a little bit gun shy due to the fact that if I do sell my place, how will I know I'll get into something on the other end?
You absolutely are expressing what everyone else is thinking, and you're ahead of the game in anticipating that. What I'd like to suggest is that we have a meeting. If you feel safe, I will tell you I've had both of my vaccination shots and I always wear my mask. If I could stop by and meet you in your home just to get a sense of it, that would be the first step. And then as we do that process, we'll be looking for places for you in the western suburbs. Would you
Okay,
like?
okay, that seems fair. Yeah, that
Would you
seems fair.
be-
I got my 2 shots already. I don't mind seeing you in person. I would love to have you assess my house and maybe start off and seeing what the value is. But again, I'd really like to make sure that you ensure me that I won't be left homeless. I guess that's the biggest thing that I'm really concerned for me and my family.
Well, I do have a 2-bedroom condo, so if worse comes to worse, you can spend some time there. So
Sure.
how's Tuesday at 3 or Wednesday at 4?
Wednesday at 4 o'clock sounds great. I'm easy on Wednesday, so.
Great. What I did there, and that's what I learned from, thank you, Parrish, for being so easy on me.
Good job, good job. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. What I did there was gave a choice. Do you want to buy the red car or the blue car? What do you want your car payments to be? Just get the meeting. So the purpose of my call, and I got farther than I would have expected, is I had an in-person meeting. So now we've got the first step going. If I needed to talk more, I would have, but I didn't. So I'll save that for when I meet with Parrish. And I'm going to talk about, I know there's a question in there about Bold. I'm going to answer it in a minute. When I get with Parrish in person, I'm going to talk about the private listing network. And that's going to give us some insight in making Parrish feel better. Now you're a third person here, Parrish. That's going to give him insight into, he's got options besides just what's in the MLS or Zillow or Redfin, because you know how all the buyers and sellers think that Redfin and Zillow start everything and the MLS follows, which is so wrong. But I'm going to make him feel that he's got options, and also maybe rent if he has to. So make him feel safe on the other side. Bold, BOLD, business objective, living by design. Business objective, living by design. Some of you might have heard this. Gary Keller plans his vacation first for the year, and he lets his work fit in, because we don't live to work, we work to have a good life. Anybody else want to try some script practice? Okay, I don't see any yellow lights coming on. Let me take this chat. Okay, Stephen, I answered. Yeah, what's bold? I don't know where else to go with this unless I have some questions. Anybody?
Yes, one question, Mary, for you is anything outside of, I guess, cold calling, lead generation that you would say touches on lead generation, but mainly focuses on, like, let's say, your sphere, or maybe past clients?
Okay, I am a huge Yes. Social media, to me, reinforces what you want to do. I don't think social media gets you the business. It reinforces and gets your image and your branding out there. There is nothing more effective and it has nothing to do with dollars. There's nothing more effective than making the phone call, reaching out. And I am of a different generation. I acknowledge that. So I could be off on this. Texting for me is not the same as phoning. I just think phoning is the gold. Um, who's been caught in a situation where you sent a text and you didn't put the comma in the right place, or you had a typo and it was a totally misunderstood text, or it caused a problem. So for me, I believe in the phone. And then I think Kimberly did it earlier, said something about the social media. You've got to have a presence. People have to know about it. I never sent out a notice that I moved a few months ago. I'll be with a client and we don't share on Facebook. We're not Facebook friends. And through somebody or through something go, hey, I heard you bought a condo did you buy a new place? So yeah, you got to be out there and with the social media. Does that answer it well, Dio?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's just really with like preferences, right? Like as you said, you'd rather be in contact rather than go through like social media and texting channels. But I guess one question that I also was asking there is for like past clients, let's say, right? Because we're kind of trying to build our business out of building our own sphere of influence, which includes past clients apart from other people that we reach out to in our respective spheres. So any thoughts or anything to share right around that area, or are you just really
Yes.
clearly focused on lead generation by
No. I think what you bring up is so important. I think past clients are the core. They're the most important. If you've ever been in any fundraising activities, any political organizations, if someone writes a $10 check, keep going after that person because they made the effort to write the check. So those people don't keep going for people you don't know. Go for the people that have already committed to you in some form, whether it's, like I say, a $10 check. So always go to your old clients and keep in touch because they liked you. You did a good job for them. And so I would always reach out to them. Something else I've done, and this isn't scientific, and I don't know how much I felt it resonated when it was Easter. For people that celebrated Easter, there were like 10 people that I got a deal on Easter lilies. So I dropped them off to select people, and they were like, oh, you didn't have to do that. Or at Christmas, I bake. And so I made Christmas cookies. And so when you do those little personal pop buys, I think pop buys are great. You just can't measure them. I think it's something you just put out there, and then in the future, it'll be good. Amber, you said different lead generation methods, open houses. I bet 50% of the agents believe in open houses and 50% don't. I believe in open houses, pandemic or not. I have heard, I'm not a mailer person. I've heard that unless you're willing to commit to mailers on a regular basis, you're wasting your money by sending just one.
Yeah,
Okay.
8.
Yeah,
You're
go ahead,
supposed to do
Kimberly.
at least 8 to be be found as a professional of the area, and then you can cut back after you do 8 consecutive to like 4 a year is what they were saying at family reunion, and do it quarterly just as like a follow-up. But you have to, in order to establish like you are the professional, you're supposed to do 8 consistent.
8 like every 2 months?
Like every month, send one. I'm doing it every month. I guess 2 months would work too.
I think for me, the open houses, because when you're doing an open house, it's probably not going to sell that house. You're on show for the people that are thinking about selling their house, and they want to see how. They don't even think this. I think sometimes they calculate it, but they're just like, oh, let's go to this open house. And they go, oh, I like the way Stephen did that open house. Oh, Nicholas, I never knew him before. He seems like a good guy. Seems like he cares about this house. Maybe he'd care about my house. So I love open houses. I think they're great for buying and selling. So that's my other lead generation way. I'm going to try something new. I am a member of the Elks Club in Des Plaines. I pay my $125 a year. I go there to eat sometimes. They're not necessarily my first choice on a social place. There's like 1,000 members. I had an English degree. I like to write. So I am going to write an article and I'm going to profile. Well, I'm going to ask. I'm going to offer to fill up that newsletter space that poor newsletter editor never can. He's always struggling to get enough information in that newsletter. I'm going to offer as a member to interview other members and profile them. Well, I think it's a win-win, and it's going to be Mary Childers, Elks member. And at some point, it's going to be brought up, not the first thing, that I'm a realtor. I'm not going to go buy an ad like the other 3 realtors that do every month. And so it gives me another talent. It gives me something that people can talk about. Oh, Mary, we saw your article. Keeps them knowing that you're around. Keeps you front of the mind awareness for that. And then if someone calls you and they want to, they have a real estate question, they're not going to sell their house or buy a house, but they have a question. When they think of you first, that's huge. And those are the ones you can say on a future phone call. Hey, do you,
Mary, which one were you part of? Sorry.
it's the Elks Club, but you could be a member of the Lions Club. You could be a member of the JCs, a service organization.
Got it. A civic org. Was it called the Elks or
Elks, like the animal.
Elk? I got it. Just like
Yeah.
Elk Grove Village. Okay.
Yeah. Has anyone been to Elk Grove Village and seen the elks? They have actual elks in their basement reserve.
Seen
did not
deer,
know
but not
that.
elk.
Yeah. So, any?
I
Mary,
think coyotes.
Oh,
Mariette.
good. Stephen.
yes. First of all, this is wonderful. Thank you. Learning a
Oh,
lot. You mentioned earlier on about writing things down on a piece of paper, writing your, prospects for the day down,
Mhm.
and then being able to reflect back on these pieces of paper. I'm sure that you use digital / electronic technology to be able to manage your activity. If so, which one, and any advice that you can give us in terms of how best to use the CRM technology in very general terms?
Right. I love Command. I haven't cleaned it up. I have probably 2,500 contacts that are not real contacts. And so it's a lifelong thing of cleaning that up.
Yeah.
I've hired an assistant, and I don't care how little business you do. I don't care how you can't afford it. You cannot. I'm talking to every single one of you when you have a transaction. You need to know how to do it yourself. Once you do, pay for that transaction coordinator. Pay that $400 because you're a realtor. You're not a transcriber. You're not a office clerical paperwork person. This I learned from Keller Williams. You have 5 jobs. Some of you know those 5 jobs.
Marketing,
No,
selling.
no. You have 5 things to do as a realtor every day, and her all 5, and you have do those and nothing else. And if you have any other things that you have to do, you delegate it to somebody else. You pay that $400. You pay that part-time person, and here's what they are: lead generate, lead follow-up, negotiate contracts, script practice, very important. Someone's going to have to help me out. I always forget the 5th. Lead generate, lead follow-up, script practice.
Going on appointments.
Oh, going on appointments. Thank you, Joe. Now, oh, well, I just got a listing. I have to fill out the listing agreement. No, you don't. Oh, I just got an offer. I've got to get my people to sign it. No, you don't. Your virtual assistant, your human assistant, your person that you talk to every day, they're going to do that. Now you've got a team, and now you're free to do it. With this seller's market right now, my buyers wanted to make 2 offers at the same time. And I would normally be against that because of the way people have been losing out on deals. My assistant, I sent her the info. I paid my $200 for her to be in the MLS. And so she wrote up 2 offers, sent it to them. I did nothing except I could have made more phone calls. Oh, okay, Mike, thanks. So that's it. You talked about the digital, Stephen. I'm
Yes.
a paper person, even though I have terrible handwriting, so it's always hard for me. But the digital part is I do a transaction tracker with my assistant. Her name is Lauren. And anybody that breathes that they're going to sell something or buy something, they go into our transaction tracker. It's an Excel spreadsheet she made. It's not a CRM. She puts the name, she puts the possible date. And then when we meet 3 times a week on Zoom, we always go through the transaction tracker. I go, okay, I talked to them. I didn't talk to them. Oh, they went with somebody else. Oh, this person did something now. So that's our master CRM. And then the other thing that I think really helps is on my phone, on my, I think it's documents. It's just something I would speak into it. I'm in the grocery store, I'm watching television, and I think about that person that I want to reach out to. So they go in my checking list, or I have my after 5 list, the people that are not going to be able to talk to me during the day. And so those are my tickler file. And so then I call them and listen. This is so amazing. Listen to your inner voice and your inner thoughts. And you haven't thought about this particular person for a couple of years and they just come into your head. Write it down. Then when you get time or when it's right, give them a call and say, hey, how you doing? And they're like, oh, I was just thinking about you. And then build it. And then the one thing I don't do that I need to admit. Oh, yes, Stephen, what were you going to say?
No, go on, go ahead, and I'll ask at the end.
The one thing I do is when those names come to you, put them in command, put them in your database. I don't, and I need to do that.
Okay, so here's the question. Are you saying that command is, no, okay, here's the question. What purpose does command, what's the word?
What does it serve?
Yeah, fulfill, serve, yeah. And what purpose does your Excel spreadsheet that you just made reference to serve?
Okay. Okay.
And if at all, how do they interact with one another?
Anyone in the Excel spreadsheet, the transaction tracker that Lauren created, she made it up on her own.
Yeah.
Anyone in there better be in command.
Okay.
And I'm not a paranoid person, and I love Keller Williams, and I plan on staying with Keller Williams forever. We had a pandemic last year. Things happen that you don't anticipate. What if Keller Williams crashed and burned? What if I hated Keller Williams? I need my own master list. I love command because it's seamless. If that person's name is in command, they're ready for when there's an opportunity. And I use like 5% of what command offers. They have so much. And once again, it's not lead generation. It's not lead follow-up. So Lauren's the one using command, not me.
Right.
It's there. And it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. I love how the documents are there. I love how we get paid. It's just like all there. So for me, command is really, really a wonderful thing to have for business, to keep track of business. And then you have the follow-up, the smart plan. And so you've got those names because just because someone comes into my head and I think about them, that's not very scientific. So in command, I can say, hey, I gave these people Easter lilies in 2021. I gave these people Christmas cookies in 2020. So when next year comes, maybe I'll do a different 20 or 10, or maybe I'll repeat it because, oh, Mary's going to probably give us Christmas cookies again. Just keeps them thinking about you.
Right. So it sounds like that command is the database and it's also the activity management, and the spreadsheet is more of a immediate to do, like, yeah,
And don't let them fall through the cracks.
yeah,
Be-
okay,
That transaction tracker may have 25 names on it. It's the something's going to happen probably, people.
right,
And then
Yeah.
command is the master list.
thank you.
Yeah. I don't know if there's one more, and I apologize for my appearance. It said that one person was going to be on and I knew Kimberly, so I wasn't worried. But this has been really helpful for me. And if you want to do it again, oh, Amber, any sites or ways to get mailers started? I think Vistaprint does some.
I can take this.
Canva.
Yeah, Kimberly, what have you used?
You could use Michael Lewis Marketing Suites.
Oh, excuse me, of course.
Radar has flyers. Wise Pelican has flyers. You can also do like your own and design them with Canva and have Canva send them directly out for you, or download the image and then upload it to a service, send it out, so that way you can select the paper if you want to get a higher qualities. I did do Canva, which I was happy with. I wish a little bit more gloss finish on them, so that way they looked a little bit more polished. I wanted it more of a laminate look, but they were great. They were effective, affordable. But Michael Lewis Marketing Suite and Reader are supposed to have pretty good prices and high quality imaging.
That's great. And once again, it's not your assistant will be doing that. Your assistant will be selecting the glossy paper and you will approve it because you're paying for it. Let them do that. That can take forever and it takes away from your time.
Sorry, I couldn't speak earlier, but
Hi, Amber.
this is Amber. I guess I'm just curious, where do you get the mailing list to mail them out to people?
Oh, okay. I think Remind, you did ask that question. I'm pretty sure Remind. Kimberly, do you get it from Remind?
Yeah, I use Remind to get a lot of my lists. And then sometimes I also subscribe for calls to RedX. So sometimes I use my RedX.
Okay. And do you all know, since some of you were new, do you know what Remind is? It's in the MLS. It's Maria, were you nodding? You don't know, Miranda, that you don't know what it is? Good. Okay, great. Because this is great information. So you're going to get a listing or a buyer and you want information on the MLS tab, and maybe at another session, we could like just go through benefits of MLS that really help us that we don't know about normally. And you go into Remind. It's the little like the world, and you click on there, you put in the address, and it gives you information about that person or that property. You can also go into Remind, but except you're not going into Remind, your assistant is going into Remind. I can't emphasize that enough. And I mean, for $400 out of one transaction, really, I mean, just do it. You will get the addresses from Remind of an area of people that have owned their homes at least 10 years. So, you know, they're not going to sell it if they've only bought it 2 or 3 years ago. So Remind has lots and lots of information for your mailing list. The other one, and I'm not too crazy about it, but for the price, maybe it's worth it, is Cole Property Resource Network. We always get a group together. It costs like, I don't know, $50, $60, $80 a year. And you can use that to make phone calls. And it's listed if they're on the do not call list, so you know who not to call, and it will give you addresses, and you could create a mailing list from that as well. And Kimberly, does Michael Lewis create mailing lists? Do they have mailing lists for an area?
I don't think so. I think you have to upload yours to them, but maybe it's just because I haven't selected to do that because I have other ways of doing it, but I would definitely check. I'm sure he could probably source them.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I think the big deal agents, the 15 million a year, $20 million a year, they're probably sending mailers. I'm a $5 million a year person. I'm a 24. My goal is 36 to 40 transactions this year. I'm not a mailer person. I might do it if there's some ego involved on a particular property, but it's not really it's not my thing. I think it's make those damn phone calls. and you'll get rich. And you don't want to make those phone calls, and you will find other ways. And when I get off the phone today, I'm going to commit to making some phone calls because I haven't made any yet today. So I'm a bad girl. I don't think there's, okay.
Mary,
Yes,
I have a
yes.
question. When you were role playing before,
Mhm.
you said or you asked if you knew anybody that was buying or selling, and it seems that that really is the crux, you know, of the conversation. That's really where you want to get to, and then obviously just ask the question. To me, it sounds very direct, yeah.
Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
all, and by the way, I'm all for direct.
Mhm.
I'm just wondering how people react to that. Do they not feel a little bit like they're being sold to if you approach it like that?
Okay. Okay. They know why you're calling.
Right.
They know why
Right.
you're calling. You know,
Yeah.
when you apply for a job, when you campaign for a political office, you ask for the vote. You ask for the
Yes.
job. So, Stephen, you want to take a couple seconds? You want to role play?
Sure.
Okay. I'm calling you. You're a past a client, and I don't know if you really thought I was that great or not. We got through it. You didn't hate me. You didn't love me, but it was okay. Now there's a great script. I don't know what it is right now. So ring, 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 Stephen. Ring, ring.
Oh, hello.
Hi, is this Stephen?
This is Stephen. Who's that?
Hi, Stephen. It's Mary Childers. We worked on the sale of your house together 2 years ago. Do you remember?
I do, Mary. Yes. How are
Oh,
you?
I'm wonderful. I really feel badly that I haven't talked to you in so long, and I'm really working on my business for 2021. And excuse me, I would ask you about the pandemic. I'd want to be sure you're okay and how you are in your shots. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, but like 15, 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Hey, Stephen, one of the reasons I'm calling is I hope you're happy, and I'm sure you're happy in your house. I'm so happy that that worked out for you. I want to build my business for 2021. I want to be there to help people. Do you happen to know of anyone that's thinking about buying or selling in the near future?
Now you come to ask me that, there is a neighbor of mine I was only speaking to the other day who happened to say that their husband had just got a new job out of state, and they weren't sure whether they were going to sell or going to rent the home.
Huh. Would it be all right with you? And I haven't seen you in a while. Can I just stop by and see how's everything's going at your house? And maybe I'll just knock on their door and introduce myself. Would that be okay?
Sure. maybe we could even go together, and I could introduce you to
Oh, geez, you're handing it to me.
them.
So I just
Yeah.
asked. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 And yes, I want the business, but I remembered you. I took the time to call you. I didn't have to.
Yeah. Yeah. What I liked about what you said, I'm building my business. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all building our businesses, and everybody gets that.
Yeah, yeah. It's wonderful for November, December. And everyone on this call, make your calls in November and December. That's when you make money in January and February. And just be transparent, be direct.
Yeah.
Okay. And are we okay on our times? This was pretty great. I lost. So, just keep doing what we're doing. We're going to be really happy, and we're going to get to go on those vacations. And I'll tell you what I did the first year after Bold. For anyone that is familiar with the Jersey Shore, not the TV show, it's the most beautiful place in the world, and it's better than any Hamptons. And I, for years, went there and went in the cottage, that was like all ramshackle, no TV. So I'm gonna, I don't know if it's bragging. I think it's endorsing what we're all about here today. I wrote the check for $4,000 for the 4-bedroom house on the waterway, not the ocean, because it's too noisy. I don't want to be on the ocean, on the waterway. And I had my friends that always had me for years, and I paid for it. They were so thrilled. They said, "Oh, Mary, you're not buying anything while we're here. We're buying all the restaurants." I'm like, "I don't care, whatever." That $4,000 was like, it was the best. Now that's one transaction.
I'm proud of you, Mary.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I loved writing that check. That was great. And that was because of Bold. And that was
I was gonna
because
say, that's
of
what they
Bold.
told us.
Yep. And yes. And so 6 months from now, a year from now, we have this same meeting. I want to hear where you spent your whatever more than what you'd normally spend, and pick what you want to do. I think that's a great way to end. So we shall meet again. Thank you, everyone, for your participation, whether you spoke or not, because you were on it. So it doesn't matter. If you didn't want to speak, you don't have to. So bye, everybody.
Thanks,
Bye,
Mary.
Thanks,
Bye.
you're
Talk to you
awesome.
again. See you.
Bye.
Thank you.